Hey, you guys. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Be Beautiful podcast, where we talk about all things to help you be you to the fullest. You guys, today, a very special episode. I know I'll probably say that on all of them, but listen, y'all, it's a very special episode because this is something that I talk to a lot with my friends. And ironically, it's all about friendships in adult years, right? So as you become this adult, you are like, what are friends, right? Like some of us are like, man, I still have friends from childhood. Some of us are like, I don't have any friends from childhood. I'm kind of isolated, right? Some of us are just like, hey, I am an adult now. How do you make friends as an adult? Or what is the purpose of having friends as an adult? So I want to talk about friendships today. I want to deep dive. I have a lot of subtitles that's going to go along in this, and we're just going to take a ride through this thing called friendship. All right. So the first thing that I want to do is talk to you guys about how you define friendship. Like, what does that mean to you? Sometimes there's a thin line when it comes to who your friends are, who your associates are, who your friend tours are. And I love friend tours. And for me, friend tours are like the most important thing as an adult, right? Those are the kind of friends I need in my life in this season. And a friend tour is somebody who's a friend, but also a mentor, meaning these are people that teach you things, people that you learn from, people that have, they're on the same page as you, or they're growing in a way that you can relate to. They're in alignment with you in your life right now. So I love a good friend tour. This is a person that's like reminding you to keep your head in the game, all of that good stuff. So I love being a good friend tour, but there's also friends that you are a friend tour towards, or somebody that you're mentoring, meaning people who may not be, exactly at your level, but they're learning from you. So I believe in the, I don't know what the concept is, it's probably a term for it, but just having friends on those three different tiers. So having friends that are working their way up, having friends that are on your same level, and having friends that can actually pull you up, right? And just like that, you're going to have that same kind of cadence, that same kind of flow with other people. You may be the person that they're learning from. You may be the person that, they're learning with, or the person that may be pulling you up, or vice versa. So friendships in adult years, they just have a complete different meaning nowadays, right? Meaning, in my opinion, friends as an adult should be like a value exchange. Like we should have a purpose for friendships, right? And that's just how I roll. That's just how I think friendship should be. It should be some kind of exchange happening. It's no different than a relationship. And that's why talking about friendships as an adult is really important. So one of the topics I wanted to get into today is knowing what kind of friend you are, right? Knowing what kind of friend you are is really important, especially for me, because my capacity changes. Like it depends on what I'm working on when it comes to business, what, projects I have going on in my life. That really does affect how I'm able to show up and be in my friendships. But guess what? Knowing me, knowing that part about me allows for me to be a better friend. So I know I'm the friend who can get on the phone, because guess what? I'm commuting, I'm traveling. I use that time to pick up and call the people that I haven't spoken to, or that have been trying to reach me, or whatever the case is, because whenever I get to my destination, usually I'm full of duty. I'm full of, things that I'm doing hands-on, right? Whether I'm shooting content, working on a business, working on somebody else's business, handling a client, taking a call, doing a Zoom meeting, doing homework, whatever it is, I might be too occupied and too focused and too locked in to have conversation with people who are texting or calling. So I use my commute time to tap in with my friends and family. So I know for me, again, I'm the person that's going to make time to have a phone call with you. I will find a way to fit it in. Okay. I'm that friend, but I'm probably not the friend that you call in the middle of the night to come help you fix your flat tire. I'm just being honest. I'm going to be the friend that's like, you don't have AAA. I'm the friend that's full of resources, right? And I don't think that makes me a bad friend. I think it's just, more about setting expectations. And that's another thing when it comes to friendships, is how to set your expectations. I don't know. A lot of us have struggled with those friends that like we fall out with because we don't answer the phone every day and we don't call and check on them every week, right? And I just feel like I'm in a season in my life where I'm extremely busy with my goals. I'm extremely busy with building and growing. And that's a priority for me. And I'm unapologetic about it. I'm not afraid to put myself first in this season. And quite frankly, I feel if you're really my friend, you get that. Right? You're not taking it personal that I'm focused on me. You're not internalizing or thinking that I'm a bad person or I'm a bad friend because I say no. That's just about me kind of having those boundaries. And I know a lot of people think boundaries are just for your relationship, but guess what? A friendship is a relationship. I don't know about you, but I've had those friendships where I'm like, dang, I feel like I'm dating her. Goodness, what's going on here, right? But it's because they're similar. Like having a friendship and having a relationship are very similar. It requires loyalty. It requires trust. It requires support. It requires love and respect. The same thing you do in your relationship, your intimate relationship, you have those same kind of standards and requirements in your friendships. And I think that people kind of take that lightly, which is why for me, I don't have a whole lot of friends. I definitely have a lot of associates. I'm definitely social. I'm definitely, someone who likes to get to know people. I love to network, but I don't misconstrue that with friendship. I know a lot of people. I'm very nice to people when I meet them. But I'm very intentional, right? I'm very purposeful when I'm out and I'm meeting people and I'm exchanging. So if I'm out and I'm somewhere and I'm exchanging a number, we've already briefed each other on what we need to exchange contacts for. Oh, I do business, or I do, this, I teach people this, I do digital products, right? And they're letting me know what their value is. I'm letting them know what my value is. And we come to the table usually exchanging value, right? Even if it's not on such a business level, whatever it is, I think making friends as an adult requires you to understand your value, understand what kind of friend you are, and present yourself in that manner. Really just letting them know, like, this is kind of how I am. So yeah, I think you should date your friends. I think you should date your friends, guys. I think when you meet people, whether it's at the gym, at a restaurant, at a friend's party, whatever it is, an event, networking event, the first step is pretty much kind of introducing yourself, letting them know who you are, maybe letting them know what you do, depending on how you feel in, the setting, the situation. And then I like to set dates right after I meet somebody, like, especially if I want to be friends with them. Like if I want to be intentionally friends with you, I'm going to set a date, right? We meet, let's say on a Thursday at a networking event. I'm like, hey girl, yeah, okay, cool. We're vibing. I like da-da-da. This is what I do. This is what you do. I'm already scheduling. What you doing next Thursday? Lunch, right? Because guess what? I got to eat. And I do my once a week outings because I have to have balance. And so I like to schedule my social life and social things because getting caught up in work is a real thing. But I believe even as an entrepreneur, you need work-life balance. So I have my Thursday outings. Usually it's Thursday that I take time to socialize, right? And that can be a dinner. That can be a day at the mall, a day of shopping, whatever it is. I like to schedule time with my friends, either somebody new that I met, I might invite them along on the journey. And that's just my opportunity to kind of get to know who this person is. Are we truly compatible, right? The same things you do when you're dating for intimate reasons is the same way that you got to be with your friends. You got to let them know who you are, what you provide, and see if it's reciprocated or whatever it is, whatever you're looking or seeking for in a friendship. My point is, be intentional, okay? Don't think that just because you're a girl, I'm a girl, we should get along. That is not realistic, okay? So be intentional with your friends too at this big age, all right? The next thing I want to talk about is how to actually distinguish your friends, right? Not everybody is a friend. So you need to define what does a friend look like to you. For me, a friend doesn't look like somebody who's just there at a drop of a dime. No, I like my friends to have boundaries because I do. So I can't be mad at you for disrespecting my boundaries when I do the same thing to you. No way. So I set boundaries, but I also love when my friends have boundaries. Like, absolutely tell me no. Like, if you can't do it, you can't do it, right? And so I think that when you're, creating that situation where you're making friends, you need to understand like what an associate is, what a friend is, what a sister is, right? Those are different categories. So kind of know what that is so you know how to categorize people, how to set expectations for people, which, listen, I know the saying, if you set expectations, you're going to be disappointed. That's true. But I believe that you can absolutely set expectations when they are discussed. The problem is setting undisclosed expectations, in my opinion, right? How can we operate if I don't know what to expect, you don't know what to expect? But if we're vocal and verbal about who we are and what we do and how we're going to operate with one another, I don't think it is anything wrong with, expecting somebody to honor their commitment, even as a friend. When you're talking about expectations, it's just, I expect you to do what you said you were going to do. That's really it, right? Whatever you presented to me, whatever kind of friend that you explain or express to me through these times that we've been dating or seeing each other or getting to know each other, that's the kind of way that I expect for you to show up, right? Because, we're adults and we should be telling the truth now. We should not be clickbaiting our friends. We should not be overselling ourselves or overcommitting so that we have friends. We need to genuinely understand why we want friends. What is it that we want them to provide? And be upfront and honest about that from the beginning, right? The next thing I want to talk about is maintaining or nurturing friendships. Important, okay? It just requires it. Like, I've met people or I've had clients that come to me and they're like, I can't keep a friend. And I'm like, asking about their life. And a lot of the times, like, these women kind of like drop the ball on their friendships. Like, they're just not there. They're not doing the things that they're supposed to be doing as friends, right? They may never make time to socialize, never make time to pick up the phone, never make time to text back. And I know we're all busy. We all have things going on, but we should absolutely set aside some times to nurture those friendships. Like, we can't expect for our friends to just always understand, right? And that's another reason why I don't just willy-nilly make friends, because it's a capacity thing, y'all. Y'all gonna hear me say that a lot, but I'm that person who is all about mental health, and I'm very aware of how I operate. And so friendships are demanding. Okay. So how many dinner parties can I make it to? Okay. How many birthday parties? How many baby showers? How many kids parties? Maybe I can only go to Chuck E. Cheese once a year. I don't even like pizza. It's a lot, right? So you have to know, like, your friends are going to be looking to you to show up, right? And it may not be every single time, but acknowledge that, know that, anticipate that when you're going around making friends as an adult, that yes, it requires you to show up in some capacity. It requires your support. It requires your presence. So I have seasons where my friendship applications are closed. Okay. And it's not because I'm a bleep. It's just because I know myself, and I'm not going to accumulate friends when I know what kind of friend I am. I'm a friend that likes to show up and show out, and when I have too many, baby, that's 3 birthdays a month. It's expensive, right? Like, you just really got to know, what it takes for you to be a friend and then work accordingly. Also, you guys, let's get into it. Handling conflict as friends. All right. One thing that I seen on social media kind of going around is women are just like, it's like a post that was like, you forgive that man 15 times, but your friend, do something wrong to you one time, and she is the worst person. She is your enemy. You can never forgive her. You've fallen out. You've blocked her. She can't reach you anymore. She's dead to you. And it's like, baby, that man dragged you through the mud, right? And not saying that you should allow for your friends to drag you through the mud either, but why is it that we are so accepting and forgiving when it comes to a man disrespecting us, disregarding us, or betraying us, or whatever the case is, and we're so forgiving, we're so forgetful? Oh, he didn't mean to do that. Oh, he just doesn't know better. He has childhood trauma, right? We have all these reasons and excuses for the men, but we don't have any reasons or excuses for the women. It's just a no. That camera went off. I don't know if that means anything, the top one. It's probably dead. It's fine. We can keep going. Okay. All right. We're good to go? Okay. So yeah, you guys, I just find that odd. I find it strange, and I find it unfortunate because some women have really lost out on really good friends, really good friendships by just being completely unforgiving to women. And I don't know what that's about. I haven't dived into that topic or that situation too much just yet, but there's something there. There's something that's making women so bitter when it comes to a woman betraying them. And I don't know if that's how it is. Like, is it because women just feel like that's the ultimate betrayal? Like, you're a woman, I'm a woman, you should never make a mistake? Or I just feel like it's a little bit unrealistic to think that your friends will never make a mistake. Okay. And handling conflict is really important. I feel like conflict resolution as an adult is super important anyway. Right. But with my friends, I try to create that space and that comfortability And even when we're not having problems, and this is what I do even in relationship, when we're not having problems, I talk about how we resolve problems when they do arise, right? And that's because there is no tension. It's not intense. It's not, anyone trying to defend themselves, or it's not emotional when we're talking about it before something happens. We can just, hey, you know what? All right, so how do you handle conflict? Like, what kind of ways do you deal with things, right? And even that is a part of me selecting my friends. That is a part of me growing with the person. I don't just get into a relationship or get into a friendship automatically because we have something in alignment right away. It takes time to build things up to a friendship, right? And so I do watch how my friends handle conflict. Because essentially, whatever they're doing to somebody else or something else, or how they do one thing is how they do everything, and that's just my personal experience, And so if I see a person who's very short-tempered, if I see a person who's not understanding, if I see a person who just doesn't handle conflict well, who blows up, who has no patience, it's probably not the right friend for me, right? And that's just because we don't align, because I don't have that kind of personality. I don't have that kind of reaction, and I don't expect for everybody to be like me, but I do have to judge if this is something that I want in my life, if I welcome this, if I have the capacity to deal with this. There go that word again, capacity. So yeah, handling conflict and conflict resolution in your friendships is super important. And I really do encourage you guys to practice forgiveness. You don't have to let that person back in your life if you feel like they were just completely, betrayed, but what's wrong with letting the person like, you know what? I really don't respect what happened there. I have my opinion. You have your opinion, and that's okay. And that's another thing that really bothers me is that sometimes people fall out because you can't convince the other person to agree with you, right? And we've lost friendships that way. Like, she just didn't see where I was coming from. She couldn't see that she was wrong, right? And so it's definitely up to you on whether you keep that person in your life or not. But my point is to encourage you guys not to be rigid with one person and then completely liberal with the other, right? You should be treating people the same overall, okay? You should have that same standard for your friends that you do for that man, right? Or even better, because your friends are the ones that are going to be there a little longer, through thick and thin. Like, let's be honest, y'all. Take a look at that, okay? Inspect that. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, since we're on the topic, girl code. Girl code, okay? And in this portion of girl code specifically, do you think that your friends should be able to date your exes? Ooh, that's sticky. Now, I probably have an unpopular opinion about this because I absolutely do not mind if my friends date my exes. Okay? No, listen, hear me out. The reason why is because they're an ex for a reason. And it doesn't mean that they're a horrible person. They just weren't a good fit for me. Okay? So if they're an ex, you're up for grabs, babe. I can't determine or dictate. Now, granted, I would find it weird if it was somebody that I was in a very long-term relationship with or someone that I was married to. I would find that kind of strange. That is probably my exception. I probably would not like that. I probably would not accept a friend who dates somebody that I was very serious with or married to. Other than that, babe, somebody that I talked to, somebody who I dated for a short while, someone that, and honestly, I'll be frank. Come ask me. Let's have a conversation. I don't see what's wrong with being candid about that topic, right? Especially if your intentions are not ill. I try not to be judgmental, but I would like to know if you're curious or wondering, expose yourself. Don't hide behind the fact that you secretly want to date this person, or you've been dating this person, or you find interest in this person and I don't know about it. Actually, I have a friend right now who is dating somebody that I dated, and I think they're engaged at this point. And we laugh about it all the time. Like, girl, remember when y'all thought y'all was a thing? Right? And that is probably so unorthodox to people. Like, I know y'all didn't used to date, and now they got a baby, and now they're about to get married, and they live together. And guess what? I go over there and I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? Right? I'll be the damn flower girl. I don't care, because in my humble opinion, we were not that deep. We were not that serious. And, they met organically, and yeah, we had a conversation about it up front. It was just one of those things where we were younger and we were talking about the guys that we met and who we're dating, who we're talking to. And the same guy popped up. And it wasn't like, are you talking about so-and-so with the so-and-so? It wasn't nasty or rude or anything like that. It's like, wait a minute, is his number da-da-da-da? And guess what, guys? It happened twice. Now, I know y'all probably thinking like, nah, one of y'all is after it really was super organic, okay? Like we just frequented the same places at different times. But regardless, this is beside the point. The point is, we talked about it. I let her know how I felt. And I honestly, truly believe that if I expressed to her that I felt a way about it, that she would absolutely honor and respect that, right? Not that she has to, but those are the type of friends that I've vetted. Those are the type of friends that I have around me that we respect and love each other enough to say, you know what, maybe not at this moment. And if it is meant for us to be, it'll come back around, you know? So that's just my take on things. When it comes to dating an ex, I don't see a problem with it within those parameters. All right. Another question that I've written down that I've received before is, do friendships expire? Now, I'm the person who doesn't have a lot of friends in life in general, but I'm definitely not the girl who has friends from elementary, right? Definitely not the person who has friends that are very long-term. Like I got a couple from high school, none from college. And that's just how it is, because maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because I am the only girl out of 5. Having friends, isn't the biggest deal for me. Like I'm okay with being alone. I'm okay with making friendships that are purposeful and meaningful and moving forward. But I've spent a lot of alone time because I'm just, one girl out of 5 children. And that's how I grew up. I learned how to entertain myself. I learned how to sit with myself. I love me. Like it's not a problem. So yeah. I do think that friendships can expire, right? A lot of times I hear about women having friendships from their childhood age to their adulthood. And when they become adults or when they reach a certain level in their adulthood, they no longer align, but people feel some type of loyalty to that person because they've known them so long or because they've been in their life so long. They feel like I'm obligated to stay friends with them. And I just don't believe that that's the case. I feel like you can recategorize that person or put them on a certain level of friendship, right? They may be the friend that comes over on holidays, birthdays. They may be the friend that just comes around occasionally, but they're probably not the friend that is a part of your new ventures and your new life. And that's okay. You can outgrow friends. That's absolutely normal, natural, and it happens all the time. My friend is not playing. I'm not sweating, though. I don't know how that's happening.
Probably it's the heat in the lamp.
I don't feel nothing. I think that's just from all day. Thanks, friend.
Ooh, so much better.
Okay. All right. So yeah, friendships expiring is a real thing. I don't think that a person should feel obligated to stay friends just because of the length of time. It really needs to be the quality of the relationship, the relevance of the relationship. Is this friendship still serving you? And if not, it's time to recategorize it. It's time to restructure how that friend exists in your life, And another thing I like to bring up is that every friend is not for everything. Right? Some friends are your nail shop friends, your errand friends, ones you call to pull up and run around with. Some friends are the friends that you talk to and confide in and you tell your business to, and they have great advice, or they're a good listening ear, or they're sound. It feels good to release and have that back and forth with them. Some friends are like that. Some friends are your turn-up friends, the friends you go out with, the friends you travel with, the friends you shop with, the friends that you just have a good old time with. But not every friend is for everything. So it's absolutely okay to have those friendships where, you're doing certain things where they fit in certain categories of your life. I think that that's totally appropriate. I think that's best anyway, right? That's realistic. So it's the same thing when it comes to friends that have gone with you through your life. And again, you may outgrow them, but it's not a horrible thing. It doesn't mean that they can't be friends with you anymore, but maybe in which way they're friends with you may change. That's totally normal. I think it's just important maybe to acknowledge it, depending on that person. I don't think that you should just avoid the conversation. If they're bringing it up, if they're noticing, if you feel on your heart conviction to explain or express to this friend that you're going to be moving in a different direction, and hey, you know what, I may not talk as much, I may not call as much, but don't take it personal. I'm just, having some changes. I'm just going through the motions of my next, journey, and it requires some isolation. That's just what it is, and life will be life, and they will overcome the detachment. Okay. That's just how it is. Right. So another thing that I wanted to talk about in that same regard is upgrading your friendship circle. In the same way that you may look at a friendship that has existed for a long time and say, not sure this aligns with me, you may be interested in upgrading your circle. And so what does that look like? That means like your socializing changes. So for me, when I wanted to upgrade my circle, I had to hang around people that were doing things that were more relevant to who I was becoming, right? The way they dressed, the way they acted, the things that they participated in, the way that they socialized, what became important to them. Those things were actually the things that I looked to when I was accumulating, or when I started to accumulate friends in my adult years. I wanted to upgrade my circle. I wanted to be around people who looked like my future, right? Not my past, and quite frankly, not even my present. I was okay being the underdog and learning and coming in and just looking around and like, okay, I can get used to this, right? But you have to start from somewhere. So when it comes to upgrading your circle, that's a whole thing in itself, right? And I'll be honest with you. Not everybody is super social. Not everybody is super outgoing and able to just walk in a room and make new friends. Sometimes you have to buy into your circle. I know you're going to crucify me, but that's okay. We are being us to the fullest. What I mean by that is, let's say you're transitioning to, kind of like my real life, right? Like I'm walking into my CEO era. I'm walking into my business girl era. But maybe my friends that I'm around at the moment, they're okay with just their, normal job and normal career. And so they don't really understand what I'm going through. They don't really understand my transition. They don't understand my desire and hunger, why I work so much, why I work so hard. For them, after work is after work. Like, work is shut off. It's time to do whatever it is in their personal life. And I'm not available to do those things, right? Because I'm working on my 5 to 9. Okay. After my 9 to 5, I work on my 5 to 9. But I might need to put myself around more like-minded people. So I will buy into my circle, meaning I will purchase those mentorships. I will purchase those communities, or buy into those communities of other like-minded people, specifically women, that are going to be on the same page as me. I might go to the networking event and find new friends, because guess what? I'm entering a new era, and it's going to require new people. It's going to require me to do new things. And I need to surround myself with people who are on the same page. It's not a personal thing. So for me, I don't feel bad to do it. But that's just a way that you can upgrade your circle. It's not always going to be natural and just, they see my potential and we just connected. No, sometimes you have to buy that ticket, go in there with a plan, say, I'm going to meet 3 people who are like-minded that I can do lunch with, that I can share ideas with, that I can exchange value with, and those are going to be part of my new social circle that I'm entering into, because I want to upgrade my network. I want to upgrade my circle. Okay. Another thing that I want to talk about, since we're talking about business, friendships and business, should your friends ask for discounts? I really, really, really like this question, okay? Because again, I might have a different perspective. I don't know if it's discounts that I really approve, but in my opinion, if I do believe that friends should be exchanging value, okay? So I'm not comfortable necessarily asking for a discount, but I will ask to barter, okay? I know my value. I know my strong points. I know what I'm really good at. And typically, because I've cultivated a circle that is aligned with myself, what I'm doing and where I'm going, I know I have something that will be of value to them as they do me, right? So, for instance, I'm into digital products. I'm into branding and marketing. I have a lot of connections in that industry, but I also receive services, and some of these services my friends provide, right? So if my friend does hair, and at this moment I'm like, getting my hair done this month is not in my budget. I might reach out to my friend and ask her, what does she need help with in her business? Okay. That way I'm exchanging value with her. I'm not expecting a discount. I'm not expecting anything for free, but I am seeing where we can exchange value. Because I believe, okay, I can pay you, $180 for a sew-in, or I can give you $180 worth of service. Okay. And yes, I absolutely believe the barter system is completely okay when it comes to friendships. That to me is different than asking for a friend to do something for free or do it for a discount just because we're supposed to love each other and I should expect for you to show up for me that way. Absolutely not. Everything, life is expensive, right? But again, I can spend that $200 as she would hiring a mentor or hiring somebody to get advice from in the business world. So if I know that that's something that, she could benefit from, I might present that instead of asking for a discount. So that's my take on that. So another thing that I'll talk about, a couple more things before I wrap it up here, is your friend's relationship with your significant other, right? So just to keep it short and to the point, guys, it's up to you, right? How comfortable you are with your friends and your man, okay? Everybody has their myth. Everybody, men will be men, and they're just, if they're given the opportunity, they're going to do this and that. I mean, that could be the case, but I'm a girl who, again, I was surrounded by boys growing up. So naturally, my friendships with guys are very natural. It just happens, right? And a lot of times when I do, and when I am around, my friends and their guy, that guy ends up becoming a good friend for me, a good friend to me. It's no different than my own guy and his friends. They ended up, kind of cleaving onto me as a sister because I'm able to have those conversations. I'm able to give them perspective from a woman's point of view. And who better to have a platonic relationship with than somebody that's already in a relationship? Okay. So it definitely matters, how much you trust your guy, how much you trust your sister. Definitely, varies when it comes to that. But I would just say to run through your thoughts. If it's uncomfortable for you, address it. If you don't like that, a certain way that a person's acting around your significant other, say something, right? Mention it to your man. See how that goes. Because it's not a one size fits all when it comes to that thing. You really need to deep dive into that and see, is it you? Are you being a little insecure? Or is there something really underlying that's bothering you? But whatever it is, it's up to you. I think it's a case by case thing. I don't think there's a cookie cutter way to assess whether a friendship with, your friend being friends with your significant other is bad, right, wrong. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as a case by case thing that should be analyzed according to your level of comfortability. Okay. My biggest tip to you is to be transparent, be honest, share when things are making you uncomfortable. Let a person know, please do not walk around my house like that. Okay. There will be no spending of the night, right? And again, it doesn't make you insecure. It just makes you sure of yourself. It lets people know that you have boundaries and this is how you operate and this is what makes you most comfortable. And I think you can go from there, right? The last thing I want to talk about before we wrap it up about friendships in your adult life is forgiving your friends. I know we kind of talked a little bit about this earlier when it came to comparing it to a guy, but there's just friendship forgiveness, right? That we just need to think about as a whole. And a lot of times, as women, we're just operating in our space. The way we do things, the way I do things is completely different than the way somebody else did something. And that's because we grew up in two different households, two different standards, two different ways of life, two different upbringings, right? But I think the best thing that you can do is have open communication. Eliminate those expectations. Eliminate projecting what you would do in every situation and try to at least see where that person's coming from, which is why self-control is important. Conflict resolution is important when you're dealing with friends. We're adults now, right? Which means we're not flying off the handles. We're not putting our hands on each other. We're not cussing each other out. We're not saying things that are hurtful that we can't take back just because we're in the heat of the moment. Right? Be a good person, be a good friend, be the type of friend that you would want somebody to be to you. Okay. And so I just want to make sure that you guys are well equipped when it comes to making friendships in your adult life. All right, you guys. So thank you again for joining me on another episode of the Be Beautiful podcast. I hope you guys make some beautiful connections out there. I hope you guys analyze yourself as a friend and see, am I doing the best that I could? Or is there some cleaning up I need to do when it comes to my personality, my behavior as a friend, how I can be a better friend, how I can be the friend that I would want someone to be to me. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time. Ciao. All right, friend.
Did that. You look so gorgeous too.
Friend. How was it?